Anyways, let's move on to a much better movie than Beast of Yucca Flats, which is Tanner's pick this week, Superman vs. the Elite.
Superman vs. the Elite is a film about Superman. He's being Superman, doing Superman things. And then at the same time, there's this civil war going on in some third world country, and then this new super team comes onto the scene called the Elite. They're like, "Hey, oi, Superman, I'm fucking British." And then they start killing villains and whatever, because they're like, "Listen, the world fucking sucks, so let's kill the bad people." And Superman's all like, "Hey, man, that's not very heroic of you." And they're like, "Fuck you, Superman, but we kind of like you, you know? You're Superman." And then they fight, and Superman pretends to kill all of them. And then he proves his point that heroes shouldn't kill people. The end.
I will pose this question. What side of belief are you guys on? Do you think bad guys should just die, or do you think that, you could slowly change the world?
I think it's a gray area.
Yeah.
I think in real life, killing bad people, assuming they do a sufficient amount of bad, is not only rational, but the moral thing to do.
But Tanner, then you're no better than them.
We are better than them. In a fictional world where there are superheroes, I think it is probably most reasonable that we put as many ethical limits on their activity as possible.
But like in the case of Atomic Skull in this instance, where this guy could literally just point a laser beam at somebody and they age rapidly or some shit and turn into dust and die. And he does that on many occasions in this movie. What do you say to that?
Superman's just wrong. Superman is just blatantly wrong. There's no reason to let this guy not just be dead.
No.
Well, I don't think
this guy is known to just break out of prison and immediately go on a massacre. Okay,
can I give my answer?
On multiple occasions, Tanner.
Can I give my answer that's going to shut all of you up? The United States of America should execute him. Okay. There is no reason this guy would not be given the death penalty.
True.
I don't think Superman should just be vigilante justice, fucking killing him. I think he should have, due process of law, and they go, "Okay, you've murdered dozens of people, yeah, we're gonna fucking execute you."
But their justification for keeping him alive was he was powering the city that he was being imprisoned in.
Yeah, that's a bad justification and very immoral.
I know. There was one quote in this movie I found very funny, but kind of true. It was something like when Superman was talking to Manchester Black, and he's like, "Oh, you can't kill a bunch of people and call yourself a hero." He's like, "Oh, that's funny, because your American government does that all the time." And I was like, "Oh, shit." Nobody else thought that was funny?
Yeah, that shit was cringy.
It was too real. It was too real. I didn't like it, okay? It hit too close to home.
What about America? America bad. America imperialism, huh? What about... Yeah, that shit was cringe, and it's not in the original comic for a reason.
I don't know. I also felt like this Superman was, the weaker of the Supermans that I've seen, because I know lots of people, constantly play with his, powers and, power levels and all that. I just felt like he was super, not Superman-y in this movie. I don't watch a lot of Superman movies,
I don't know what you mean by that. He can be hurt. Sure.
I'll take it from you. I don't know much about the DC universe, so I'll take what you say at face value, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, this version of he's a bit weaker, and then, getting blasted by super, fucking Atomic Skull does actually hurt him. He's a bit weaker in that way. But, at that ending fight scene, he was moving so fast, he was fucking, instant transmissioning around the place.
Oh no, yeah, I enjoyed the end where it was he was actually doing Superman shit. I'm like, there he is, that's the guy I know, now he's doing Superman stuff.
You mean the part where he very expressly wasn't doing Superman shit?
Yes, that's still in Superman.
No, okay. When he was, actually beating the shit out of these four people that I,
Yeah, when he was pretending to act like them to prove them wrong because he didn't actually believe in doing things that way?
Yeah, well,
That's your Superman? You missed the entire fucking point of that whole scene?
No, I got it.
The whole point of the movie flew over your fucking head?
No, it didn't. Never mind. I forget I said anything about it. Anyway, I did really enjoy this movie. The only, minor gripe I have with this movie is I'm not a huge fan of the animation style. It's not great, in my opinion. It's okay. It's serviceable for a movie. I liken it to maybe a show you watch on TV, not so much a movie.
Okay.
But I did think it was paced fairly well. It moved along quite quickly. And I mean, it was only like an hour, 15 minutes anyway. So they kind of had to pack a lot into this movie as is. But yeah, I just thought that there was a lot of death in this movie. And I'm sure, I was thinking of like the Marvel movies in parallel to this. I'm sure an equal, if not greater amount of people die in the Marvel movies than in the DC movies. I just didn't think they'd show it so explicitly with people turning to ash and all that shit.
It stands out a lot more in DC movies because, like, Marvel, we're used to them killing people. Like, I think Spider-Man is the only character who really is like, yeah, I don't kill people in Marvel. All the other Marvel heroes are like, yeah, fucking whatever, I don't care.
They're just collateral. DC, in fact, I hope that I kill more people.
Yeah, yeah. Most DC heroes are like, yeah, I don't kill.
Yeah, I get that. Except, and there was that, what was it was the part where Superman flew into that one country, like, under the...
Bialia?
Yeah, Bialia, and, like, the soldiers were about to blast him, and then that one soldier's limb just got twisted like fucking pretzels, and, oh, it's nasty. I
just like that scene from Old by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, just like
I haven't seen that movie, so...
No, that's actually an Elfin Lied reference.
I have a big rant to go on for this movie, so Nico Jackson, I'd like to hear your thoughts first.
Oh, my thoughts will immediately make you go on a big rant. So, like, Jackson, you want to get yours out of the way first?
Yeah, this movie has... I think the idea behind this movie is cool. I like the idea that they really go out of their way to explore a lot of the themes based around superheroes. They tackle a lot of the big ones, that the morality of killing people, with the, the kind of anti-hero kind of thing. They also talk about, like, destruction of property and how things like that should be handled. I like the idea that they're taking, like, a pretty mature approach to that, which is cool. And honestly, the movie kind of left me, or not left me, but, like, it constantly, like, proved me wrong. Like, when I was watching it, I'd say something like, this is fucking stupid, and then the movie would, like, prove me wrong after by explaining what it was doing. And it did that quite a few times, which I can appreciate. But there's definitely some pretty big flaws with it. Mostly with Dylan liked the pacing of the movie. I did not like the pacing of the movie. I thought it was way too quick.
It was way too fast.
Honestly, I think the biggest flaw with this movie is just the fact that they bring up all these cool themes, but they don't really expand on them, and they go way too quickly, so you don't have a lot of time to latch onto it. Like
these are incredibly complex and nuanced issues that they just don't explore whatsoever. They just kind of present there like, well, these are a couple different sides of it. That's about it. You figure it out.
Yeah, also, of course, Superman is, like, very inconsistent with his powers and stuff. Like, we obviously at the end scene, he's trying to, like, be, like, the super domineering figure, and he is. Why the fuck wasn't he doing that with, like, the other villains that were literally killing random civilians in the streets at the beginning? Who knows? Doesn't matter. It's all for fucking plot convenience. And I wasn't a huge fan of, like, the art style and animation. That was kind of shitty.
Yeah, I'm right there with you and Dylan. The art style for this I wasn't really a big fan of. Like Dylan said, it really does just kind of look like a TV show, which I expect a little bit more from films,
Yeah. It didn't use as much CG as I expected. Like, when they're doing, like, the fucking plane scene, they had the planes in CG, and then, like, it cut to, like, the actual cockpit and stuff, and it was, like, actual 2D animation. I respect that. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty lukewarm on this film. I like the idea that it's presenting all these scenes. I just don't think it fleshes them out enough, and I think it's a pretty all-right film overall for me.
Yeah, I feel like this movie is just kind of fine. Jackson went over a lot of my talking points there. I feel like the only real big negative, I'd say, that hasn't really been hinted on here quite yet is the voice acting. I thought it was pretty bad in this movie generally.
Okay, I wasn't the only one.
Yeah, the voice acting was really cringy.
Like, especially Superman is really rough. Like, he just does not emote ever in this movie. It's just the same tone at all times in any situation.
Anyways, Tanner, rant time. Prove us wrong.
Let's go.
Now, I didn't really have an issue with the art style. Personal taste, notwithstanding or whatever. I think, like, I don't know, did you guys think Atomic Skull's design was cool, at least?
Yeah, I think it was alright.
Nothing?
I've seen cooler.
I didn't have a problem with the art style, and I will say, voice acting is one thing I'm calling it out for. Voice acting was really rough.
Okay.
And the bummer is, it's Superman whose line delivery is the worst. I think this movie is written well, but a lot of the line delivery is, like, kind of whack, especially with Superman, which is a major bummer. And I don't think it's the voice actor's fault. It feels like he just got directed weirdly.
Yeah, it's
in
probably
terms
just
of
like bad direction, I'd assume.
Yeah, I think because like it's just like the tempo of some of his sentences were just fucking weird. I thought Manchester Black was pretty good for voice acting.
Yeah, I thought that was.
I thought he was much better than any of the other characters. Lois was fine. You know, the 2 lines we got from J.K. Simmons as Perry White was really good, but you know, whatever the fuck. You know, I admit I'm a big Superman fan. I have a massive Superman bias, and for that reason, I really liked this film because I think it perfectly captures the essence of Superman in a way that most recent Superman movies just don't. A lot of people don't really understand Superman and the point of him and, like, literally what he even is.
Yeah, they just make him God. Superman is
they
God.
just make
He's
him
an
a god.
uncaring, emotionless being who just prays over us and does his own bidding.
Exactly, yeah. But this movie actually understands Superman's character and portrays that. A big part of that is I really like Superman and Lois's relationship with this. Not because, and it's not in like, oh, they're just like lovey-dovey and they never conflict at all. Like, we actually see shit like when Lois Lane is like, I don't know, maybe I do think the bad people should just be killed. And that's like a serious point of conflict between the two of them. I like that shit. I liked the action scenes. I thought they were pretty solid, and I thought there was a good number of them. You know, we have the couple of Bialia scenes, the couple of Atomic Skull fights. I liked the one time that Superman and the Elite team up to save those people trapped in the train. I thought that was pretty cool.
I don't know, for me the action wasn't super standout. It was fine, but I don't think it was like anything really amazing.
I thought it was fine.
That's what I said.
I thought it was good.
There we go.
I wish there was a more gradual shift for the Elite from when they like admired Superman to when they were like, oh, he's old fashioned. We need to, like, it's our turn to take things over. They did that too abruptly, which I suppose would be me agreeing with your guys' issue with it being paced too quickly. And then my last, this is a nitpick, this is stupid, and I wanted to go read the comic to see if this is the case in there. I didn't get around to it, but maybe I will this week.
Superman's boots were the wrong color. What were they thinking?
No, at the very end confrontation, which I think is cool. I think the delivery is much better in the end confrontation, and I love the really badass lines from Superman throughout. When he does the big reveal of how he pulled off faking, killing the entire Elite team and whatever, and it's his little robot guys that, like, grab him and run away, I was like, that seems stupid, because he also revealed that he convinced the worm thing that can teleport people to join him. And I'm like, wouldn't it be a better reveal and make more sense if he just had the worm teleporting them away at the last second instead of his robots coming in?
Yeah, that 100% would have been better.
That actually does remind me of another criticism of the movie, that being that the ending really just comes out of fucking nowhere. Like, they don't really give you a whole lot to latch on to. Basically, all you get is, like, a hint that this is what's going on is, I mean, A, it's Superman, I guess, is one thing you could look at it. But B is that they also show, like, the one scene of Lois talking to Manchester Black's sister in the alleyway, and that's, like, all you get. They don't really explain anything else about what's going on behind the scenes. It's all this, we have all this shit that's happening, all these plans and stuff, but the audience sees none of it. So it's, like, really just, like, some crazy, like, twist reveal, basically, at the end, and I don't really think it worked that well, mostly just because of all the other compounding pacing issues. This one really just seemed like a really big, blatant thing. Like this, like, I think it was cool, when Superman was doing, like, the action scene, I liked the reveal, but it was also just kind of fucking stupid to me.
I disagree. I think the end confrontation was really cool. Other than that robot thing, I thought that's kind of silly, and I really feel like if I go and read the comic, this is based on that it will be that the worm was just teleporting them all away.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would they change that? What would be the purpose behind that?
I don't know.
They want Superman's robots to be more involved. I think they're cool.
Easier to explain. Kids like robots.
That whole deal didn't make too much of a difference. All I do know is that the end, like, had a quote. I don't know why I randomly remember this, but the end had a quote. I was watching, like, a Screw Attack death battle, between Goku and Superman. And there was a quote that he said in this movie that he said in there, and for some reason I always think of that quote. So just a random fun fact for you boys.
What quote was it?
What's the quote?
When he was talking to Manchester Black, and he's like talking about like, oh, I found the thing in your brain that does the thing, and performed instant lobotomy, or however I don't remember verbatim what he said, but it was that part.
The famous Superman quote, I performed an instant lobotomy.
I'm only referencing that because in the second Goku vs. Superman, that's how he killed Goku. Anyway, moving on.
I think Superman should lobotomize more people.
That's,
I agree.
okay.
I feel like that would solve all of his problems a lot faster.
Clearly.
I like the part where Manchester Black is, oh, where'd such and such guy go? And Superman's like, orbit. That was cool.
That
and
was
then he
pretty good.
That was the other thing. Did, what was that guy's name? Cold Snap or whatever? The big guy?
I think it was something like that.
Which
Cold
he
Flash,
didn't even,
Cold Snap.
yeah, he didn't even have ice powers. Did he remind you of Static Shock, or was that just me?
You're being racist.
I'm not being racist. He had the dreads and the face structure and everything, dude.
He was black and he had lightning powers. This is what I'm saying, dude, okay? Just because you think that two people look alike and they're the same race doesn't make you racist, okay? Come on.
I gave reasons to why I thought
you
that,
guys
but...
get your ranks out of the way. Let's start on a downer and on an upper.
C+.
I also gave it a C+.
Jesus. Is that me
Cracked.
next?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read my rank before I assume. I gave it an A.
Okay. And I finally realized what S tier means to me. And S tier for me means special.
Superman.
A movie needs to not only be good, but do something special. And for me, this movie does something special. So I'm giving it an S minus.
For Superman minus.
Yep. Superman minus 0.
Superman minus.
Coming
All right,
next
and
fall.
That would be a
puts
crazy movie.
And that puts it at a solid B+ overall.
Wow.